Cool. So we're recording now. We'll plan to make this public. If something gets said that you think we maybe ought to cut, then yell cut so we can cut right then. Sound
Okay,
good?
sounds good.
Cool. Oh my God, it's been so long. So great to see you and be with you. It's kind of crazy, like how long
Yeah.
we've been apart. I really have to apologize for that because I've been thinking about it this morning that, really just the way my flow has been, I've been, interrupting our ability to keep going and keep flowing. And I don't want to be in that kind of cycle. I've been in this overwhelm mode, basically, of feeling like I had to do this and I can't do all this other stuff. And so I have to focus on this, and then I have to focus on this. And, our meetings have been falling in the realm of admin, administration meetings. And so that's one area that I've essentially, kind of given up, to focus on product development, to focus on, recruiting new members and bringing fun. But anyways, all of that to say that I'm committed to getting past that cycle and not cycling in that anymore. What I've been focusing on, and we won't go into it too deep now, we will in this meeting, but I want to get into focusing on, our relationship and what we're doing. But just to say that the product development that I've been doing with the manifestation process at this has matured to the point that, it's kind of like I'm actually setting it up to where people just pay whatever they want, whatever value they think they're getting out of it, that's what they pay, every month. And I'm very confident that we'll have, some people paying hundreds, some people paying, 50, 25, 5, whatever it is. But I know that everyone's going to see value in it because there's already, and again, I'll get into the details with you, there's kind of like guaranteed value in it. It's kind of like impossible not to create value in your world if you follow this process. I'm starting to get it even simpler and simpler and simpler, and we'll talk about it. But all of that to say that I feel like we have a product to sell now, different from the Leadership Council. The Leadership Council opportunity obviously has been, what I've been focusing on selling, so to speak, or relying on for revenue, right? That's been obviously a limited audience of people who would potentially be Leadership Council members. And, there's a lot of, communication involved usually, back and forth with people at least a couple times to have them get the questions they want answered and understand it and be interested in stepping into a leadership role and all of that. So it's been, a challenge for that to be the sole source of revenue, to this point. And without, outside support of investment either, And so now that I've developed, the manifestation process enough, although there's still, a bit of refining and polishing that I need to do, and some programming that I need to do to make it automated so people can just sign up and use it, sign up and use it, sign up and use it. But as soon as we get to that point, which is pretty close here, then it's just a matter of like opening it up to the world, let anybody finding value in it, and let money just start, flowing in from the value that it's creating in the world. So it's going to make it a lot easier to have the financial side covered, and ought to be covered, pretty abundantly, pretty quickly, with all the value that we're creating for people. So that's, where we're headed pretty quickly. But I want to kind of set the stage with that because it's a very different, environment than we were living in when you and I last connected, which was, again, Leadership Council being the sole focus, the only source of revenue. That I'm in a revenue challenge position where I have to get that, managed every month. So again, we're on the cusp of having that part handled, so I don't have to keep spending, hours and days like hustling for who am I going to find next second sign up, and once all of that. And that's
exactly.
And so, we're, as an organization, we need to have, it's been contracted, the last several weeks now, because I've been in this contracted state. I've been focusing on the product development. I haven't had room in my, world to have ongoing communications with you and with other people. So now it's time to come back out. Hey, we've got a product now that we can all, be behind and use, and we can all experience the value of it. And then, you know, be able to start focusing on the other aspects of the business, so to speak, and the business development and lots of other, you know, aspects of it. And that's where, you know, again, I want to start with you and let you, you know, kind of redeclare, you know, how you see yourself and how you want to be, you know, in this future that's getting created. You know, it's a different future, but at the same time, I know you've been in a lot of life the last several weeks, you know, since we connected. So I just want to tune into where you're at. I want to tell you that, you know, from my perspective, I'm as, you know, enthusiastic as ever about you, you know, being involved at the highest level, you know, you being the you know, first executive, the first person on our team, all of that. So, you know, I'm still picking up where we left off with all of that. And I just want to tune in, you know, to where you're at. And, you know, ultimately, from my perspective in this win-win world, I want to give you all of the wins that you are looking for in order for you to be the most expanded version of yourself in this lifetime.
Oh, wow, that was incredible. Thank you. Amazing. So yeah, a lot's been happening in the world. I mean, so I have to share this little thing that's been happening. It's an interesting thing that we might be able to offer up as part of the membership of the manifestation process. So who in the world does not need or want more money? I mean, there's some people that are just sad, or they're not interested, or they have their needs met, but most people nowadays are like, yeah, I could use more cash for my future, for my whatever. And so I think I might have mentioned it to you, but I mean, I'm going to publicly say that for about a month, I've been drinking this water that I put my headphones on. If you can picture like a big, actually, I'm going to hold it up like this, right? And I put my headphones into the water and I play abundance affirmations. And then after a couple of hours of doing that, I drink the water. I just found out today my company's giving me $1,000 for referring Satya to the position, right? And I was like, wow, it's just $1,000 just came out of. And then I'm meeting again with the guy who's interested in buying an apartment building, and I might have found a building, and that would be like my biggest sale ever, a commercial sale. Reached out to another commercial realtor who might want to help or work with us in that capacity. And I'm just like in awe. The rentals are starting to like deal number 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is all new. Like we've never done it this way before. And it's just fast and easy. And so I feel like it's working. And even if it's a placebo, or what a channeler named Bashar calls a permission slip, I just believe it's working, and because I believe it's working, then it's working. And I mean, I started to watch your video with the lady that specializes in disabilities because it came up in my YouTube feed. And you have a magnetic energy that attracts a lot of really high causing people that want to cause great things in the world. So I think what I'm hearing you say that I really could get excited about is we'll have a manifestation type membership. And maybe eventually we have a baseline $25, but for now we just start it like give what you can. Like, you know, when you have those events around South Florida and the spiritual is like donation based or whatever, like it's like that. Maybe we start like that. But I can get really excited about that. Where I was concerned with the Leadership Council, where I felt it was going, is like a marketing agency for people, which I've done that before. And that's just a lot of granular legwork that I think right now you're able to actually, you know, do that very well as a consultant mind. You're able to look at a different problem and see a solution that you can offer people and do that. But I think we need to, like on your next meeting, really make a new line in the sand about all the things you just said, that there's the executive council over here, and we're going to start to work with organizations that want to align themselves with what's going on over here. And then, you know, syncing those things up. So all that said, I feel very abundant and like in a new place, and that we do need to create something now. You know, the world is in need. And maybe we could have some kind of kickoff event on 2/22/22. A lot of people are talking about that. It happens to be a Tuesday. So I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate all of those thoughts. I think that's all amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that. I want to talk about the water, but I feel like I should probably get back to that part. Have you studied Dr. Emoto? Do you know Dr. Emoto's work?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm aware. And that's what gave me the idea was how could just thinking things out of jar affect the rice, right? And that's when, and because I've done affirmation work, but what I got was if my brain is stopping the action on the vibration getting in, because there's almost this thing, I've read a lot about this, that if you're saying the affirmation, but you're not believing it, you're actually continuing the lack. So the affirmation is actually having like a neutralized or net nothing accomplishment, right? Because I used to have them in my shower. I am this, I am that, and all these things. And some of it stuck and some of it didn't. But I feel like with the drinking of the water, it bypasses my subconscious. And yet the words, like once in a while, I'll listen to what I'm playing through the headphones and I'm like, wow, if I'm taking that in, that is exciting, you know?
That's
And I
great.
mean, if
The whole,
everything this is metaphysical, this is rocket science we're talking about.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
I
awesome.
urge you, these are $25. Go get yourself a big, nice filtered jar or whatever. And now Juan's drinking it too. And he's starting to run around and help me close business. And it's, I'm telling you, I'd like you to try it because I'd like us to observe what happens to you. And maybe this becomes something that's part of our membership secret sauce. Have everybody
I appreciate the idea and the concept. I think it's great. And yes, I think I might as well start trying it. What is there to lose, right?
There's nothing to lose. You probably already have one of these somewhere in a drawer. And then you get the, make sure you're drinking filtered water. That's, just goes without saying. And yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I really appreciate that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And, in terms of I'm going to want to get into some of the specifics so you understand like what it is that what I've developed and what we're focusing on now. Right. But I think the point that you made was really important that, it felt like we were being like a marketing consultancy because I was doing marketing, I was doing consultancy and that sort of thing. And so what I've been doing is I've been working on developing, the processes, and learning by doing basically, right? Just having these meetings and letting it process and figuring it out. And so I don't want to spend, I could spend a lot of time. I need to spend enough time so you can understand like all of what's happening right now. So I want to get into that, but what you said in terms of like, again, specifying from a business perspective that this is what's happening here and this is what's happening here and the executive team is doing this and the leadership council is doing this. I think you're right that we need to do that for sure. And, Rico has said something similar and I know he's talked with Angie about it. I know. And plus there's other leadership council members that I need to really, re-enroll, that haven't been around, lately. And so, and that's conversation for me to have with them. And I want to show you what I've been preparing basically to share with everybody. So let me just kind of dive right into it and let you start seeing it, to start seeing the kind of the really basic obviousness of it. I'm going to share some parts now I haven't shared yet because I'm still been processing it. Because right now we've still been talking about, visions and then bringing the visions down into projects basically and that sort of thing. But I realized today that we probably want to introduce it to people on an even more basic level of just what could you use, what do you need help with? What could you use right now, and have people just say from the top of their mind, what it is, I need a babysitter or I need, a video editor or I need, a relationship, whatever it is that people want to define as what they need, then it's a matter of if they have something to incentivize, to offer people to bring it to, not only to offer it if they can offer it, but for them to want to reach into their network to bring it to them. That's the role of the vision holder. I'm trying to think back to where you and I last left off in terms of the process, the manifestation process. I think maybe I was just developing the vision holder concept at the time. Did we talk about vision holder? Do you remember? You want me to refresh?
I've gone over your manifestation materials you've sent, and I feel like you have a really solid framework, but we haven't talked much about it, you and I, yet. No.
Okay. So, that's actually part of the apology that I wanted to share with you as well, as I feel like, I started to do these prototype, vision analyses with these other people. And I feel like you should have been at the top of the list of who I should have been working with on that. You and I should have been going through the process, all of this time as one of the models. So I really, and, part of it again was because I had in my mind this concept that we talked about of coming up with a shared vision for essentially creating like a long-term, salaried position, in Uniting for Action or some big, role.
Yeah, but the apology is not necessary. You were still figuring it out what you want to get to, so it would have been premature in my mind. So I think you just tend to be very hard on yourself.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Okay, I'll stop with the apologies and just say that the for people just sharing what it is that they want, what they're looking for, like even for you just to say, I'm looking for, an apartment building that my client wants to buy, right?
Yeah.
So something really specific. And, that's a good example because you can say to people, listen, if you actually find me the apartment building that my client buys, then I can give you $100 or $500 or $1,000, whatever the most incentive is that you can give. That's going to have people looking for it, right? That's going to really. It's a matter of inspiring people. There's like a fine line between inspiration and incentivizing, right? Because it's the combination of how inspired are they combined with the incentive. The incentive may be enough on its own, or it may not. The inspiration may be enough on its own, or it may not. But you combine the inspiration with the incentive, and that's the force that you have to propagate out through the network to reach whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever it is that you're calling for to have satisfied, right? And to have a system that does this automatically around all this stuff that we want, where all the people around us are looking to send us what we want if we've incentivized it sufficiently, because then they're going to get something out of it, right? They're going to get a referral commission. They're going to get a, whatever it's going to be. So this, it's almost like with our old traditional kind of just like doing things whatever without having a system for it, but just like living life compared to having.
I wouldn't discount, like Craigslist is a system. It's an online message board. I need a painter. I need a job. I need a friend. I need a room. I mean,
there's no doubt about that. But the big difference between that and what I'm describing is that there's no place for you to go and see Jared's top needs right now, Juan's top needs, Rico's top needs, Angie's top needs. There's no place for you to know what all of your people in your network top's needs are, and how well you can fulfill them with not only your resources, but I know a person who knows the person, right? And when it's incentivized for you, when you're going to earn, because the standard commission, so to speak, that I want to build into the system, this will be like normal. People can change the agreements however they want, so they're not forced into this agreement. But we want to set as a standard that people earn 10% of whatever business is done between the people that they connect.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're actually going to have those people that are doing business know in advance that they're going to be giving 15% of the business that they're doing together into the collective. That's the transaction, so to speak. of being in the system. And then the way that 15%, so they, knowing that in advance, they get to price everything appropriately so that it's not, so they can deal with it, right? They can absorb it as a cost in their cost of doing business, right? So here's the 15%. Now, of that 15%, 10% goes to you that you connected those two people. So they do $20,000 in business, you get, $2,000. They do $200,000 in business, you get $20,000. It's obviously very incentivized to connect people to do business in this realm, right? And not only do you get the 10%, but that 5%, 2% of that goes to the person that, signed you up, right? So now you're getting we talked about this before, the second generation. I'm even thinking of putting 1% on the third generation so that, again, there's so much value to you signing up anybody because it could turn into a jackpot anywhere, basically, right? That's the financial side of it. Any questions about that?
Well, no, what I'm almost seeing, because for 20 years I was drawn to network marketing. Maybe we put a new spin on network marketing, which has always been product oriented. I did a service one once that was like selling electrical company monthly service for electric. It was like a power company that wanted to go MLM.
I'm totally into people understanding it in the MLM world and describing it for them.
Because if we can show how we're different, because so many people have been drawn to that. And just yesterday, one of my friends in Michigan was saying, Jesus was a multi-level, like life is really, like, big businesses are now trying to do it. Like Visa has a multi-level division, Primerica. So this could be really fruitful if we think this through. You join the network, and of course we should have a little sign up fee, $25 to get in, right? Then you are in the network. Then the system is going to systematize the commissions of the referrals with different levels of connection. And maybe you get, maybe you get certain bonuses for hitting certain milestones to incent you to bring more people to what this thing is.
Yeah.
I don't think this has ever been done. Can you think of anything that is like that?
No, I don't know of it. The one thing I appreciate that you're absorbing it all and getting it all. The one thing I want to make really clear, though, is I'm not at all interested in marketing this to the MLM world of people. I'm interested in marketing this to the world of people that want to come together to create results, and then they get all of the benefit of this. I want you to understand that from a business perspective, we're not trying to blow up this business by seeding it with all of the people that already know MLM and will gravitate and just do it because it's an MLM business. I want the people coming into this to be the people that are showing up to create results in the world and are creating results with each other. And they happen to benefit from this whole MLM structure at that deep level. So whether
but you are not going to discriminate. If
no,
Amway guy goes, I'm sick of Amway. It's dish soap and
of course,
vitamins.
I just want to make it clear that in no way do we want the media or the world to be talking about us as a multi-level marketing company. That's not what we are. There's multi-level marketing benefits built into the systems, as like you said, as there should be across all of our society. It's just a paradigm that's kind of lived only in the multi-level marketing. I want to make a real distinction that we don't sit side by side with all the other multi-level marketing companies that have ever been out there and we're just the best one. No, we're not a multi-level marketing company. We just have elements of that built into the system because that's the most effective way to manage those types of dynamics. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a really important distinction from a branding perspective. We're focused on the mission. Our mission is to create results in the world. Our mission is not to build a big business and get all of these people in and do all of this business. That's a side that happens. That happens along the way, but it happens along the way because all of us are devoted to creating results. And as we're devoted to creating results, then there's all these dynamics happening where now that we have a system that we can see what everyone needs, everyone in our network, everything that they need is all open to us. We can help fill all of those needs. We're incentivized to help fill all of their needs. It really is, as you think about it, it's a pay it forward system, because we are going to get something in return on the back end, but we have to give something first in order to get, the commission or whatever it is. So we are giving them something that they need. So it's really interesting when you think about that dynamic, that we're creating a system that incentivizes and systematizes a pay it forward type of mentality. Who can I help today? What difference can I make for them? How can I support them in getting them what they want? And then when they get what they want, it's going to help me get what I want too, and not just with finances, but with everything, and you're in a system where this is the dynamics within the whole system.
Yeah,
and
so everybody starts thinking in that kind of way, who can I help today, versus the way we're in survival now. And it would probably change the dynamic for the people that are in, and then the testimonies are just going to write themselves.
And the other thing is for all the skills that people have that they've acquired that they're good at, which gives them the ability to help others in those specific ways. Now they can browse the whole world of opportunities. What business is looking for that nano action that I can help them with?
You're kind of flipping business on its head. Like a lot of times I've thought about what we're doing and I'm like, but shit, there's already a Facebook and it already has a profile and you got the profile. But what's all that is about is one-way communication where, no, it's not one way, but it's mostly like, this is what I do, buy it, please. Like my stuff. Respond to me, and then people respond and whatever, but it's going this way. This would kind of flip it, that Kat's trying to get healthier. She'd like to know more about nutrition. Kat would love a running buddy to go once a week. And then I start to go, oh, Jared says he needs help with, going to the post office on Tuesday. Actually, I could use a walk. So I think what you're saying is like, it would flip the way we view human. I really like the pay it forward. I mean, it makes me want to rewatch that movie. That was a fabulous movie.
Which really kind of a weird coincidence. One of my fraternity brothers, was the executive producer on that movie.
No way.
There might even be, I don't know, but there may even be a chance we may be able to use, some of the movie or something in the marketing.
Amazing.
Who knows?
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. I'm really getting excited about your vision because it still has a save the world element that my Pollyanna self wants in there, baked in a little bit. But yeah, you're also flipping a lot of things on its head, which has a lot, you're going to get a lot of naysay. Oh, no, we already have. Why? How is this different? And that means you're on the right track. Quick story about my ex-boss, Michael McNeil. He really got his business going when someone told him paging software is dead. This will never go anywhere. It was a venture capitalist in a room and he saw Michael as a snotty-nosed engineer. And obviously Michael went on to, prove him wrong. So I hope you're kind of built the same way, that maybe getting some negative feedback is a driver for you, because whenever you try to do something really bold and audacious like this, you're going to have whatever. So I'm just preparing you ahead of time. But I love this. So I got to really wrap my brain around this. I cannot think of one place in the world where people are vocally publishing their needs in maybe like every category. These are the things I need.
Exactly. So I'm going to take you through more of the steps so you can see it. But even again, this is now a little bit different than the manifestation process as it stands, because the manifestation process is getting a lot of structure around it. What we're describing is much more basic level, like just tell the system what you need, tell the system what you're willing to offer to get it, and see what happens essentially. But this again is where the inspiration aspect is so important, because you need to inspire your friends to work for you. You need to inspire, people to take action in alignment with what you're looking for. So it's really the currency in the system is the inspiration. And that's
Mhm.
where there's a lot of, video producers, and we're going to turn, video production in terms of like anybody that can do anything, that can create things inspiring. Like that's going to become the most popular like job position in the world with what we're doing, because how well people can inspire people is going to be the difference between whether they get attention or whether the next one gets the attention. And that's an amazing thing if you think about it, that we're going from this world where all of these marketers have been trying to interrupt us and pay to
Push, push,
interrupt
push, push, push.
interrupt our
Google,
world.
Google keywords. I came up on the top of your search, you know.
And now what's going to happen is now all of these corporations and everyone are going to be paying people to be the most inspiring. Whoever is being the most inspiring is going to be the ones that win. So to imagine us living in a world now, instead of everyone trying to interrupt us and take our money, all the whole world is just trying to inspire us. Everyone in the world is just trying to inspire us. That's the world that we're living in. So yeah, it's totally flipping the world.
Very, this resonates. This is cool. This is like the evolution of the original conversations, but it's still completely aligned with the initial conversation, which I love. Like it's had to take on a life of its own, and you thinking about how can we do this, because everybody, like I said, everybody wants more, finance, but maybe the whole key is going to be if we get our attention on things that are not even necessarily financial, then everything else kind of falls into play. Because right now it is unfortunately so many people looking at that thing. But if you've been keeping up with the truckers in Ottawa, for example, today on my TikTok, they were holding hands in a circle singing "We Are the World" in Ottawa. And so big things are happening. I mean, this is not even about the vax anymore and the mandates. This is something big happening that people are literally just looking up and going, this cannot be, I'm not inspired. Are you? Like, people are not inspired, but that was inspiring. That was inspiring. And people will give up a lot of their worldly whatever, as long as their basic needs are met, going back to the Maslow hierarchy I mentioned to you: food, water, shelter, nutrition, but inspiration being the missing thing. Inspired work was that was my sixth need I came up with for the 6 things that everybody needs.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. And I bought inspirationalenergy.com so many years ago.
Wow.
And I had this concept so many years ago. I think I've shared with you, there's a gap between where we could be living in our highest inspiration and where we're living now. And that gap is the amount of inspirational energy that could be out there in the world. So there's so much inspirational energy that's locked inside of us as humans that when we mine, instead of mining the ground for oil and for natural gas, we're going to start to mine ourselves for inspirational energy. And as we tap into the vast amounts of inspirational energy that are available on the planet, that's what's going to power us into the future.
Honestly, that's what made Landmark exciting for me, and because that stuff that you're talking about would naturally occur after by Sunday, you were seeing humans interact newly. Oh, your cousin has so-and-so. I know somebody who, and you'd see it start to just like, woo, like everybody was playing off of each other, trying to help each other. Why? They were inspired. And it was new inspirational energy. I once registered a business, Powerful Possibilities LLC, and never did anything with that. But I was standing in, like, it happened during Landmark. I'm like, powerful possibilities. I see so many possibilities, but I don't know how to harness it and channel it as one person.
Yeah, I really appreciate you seeing so much of the vision at this point. And I've got some more, what's great from what you're sharing is that you've been seeing in real time the evolution of this in my head and in my consciousness over the last few weeks. And so now you're starting to get an idea of what my work looks like in real time. And you can see how much like the world has evolved just in my mind over the last month.
I'm really happy and relieved, because if this was going to be a conversation of now we need to help the lady that just joined with whatever, I'm happy to help with that, but that can't be what this is. And it's okay that that has been a starting point as well in parallel. as you build this vision, now automatically anybody on the board is going to be like, oh, is this what we're doing? Because I'm enrolled. So now how do we do that? Right. So it's all perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
yeah, I totally appreciate that. I totally appreciate you seeing that and thinking that way. And it's great. It's great. I'm going to start to dive into more of the details now, to give you some specifics of what some of the other new concepts that I've come up with, what they look
Okay.
like and what they're doing with us.
Okay.
So that was amazing what we just shared. Anything else that you want to say about that part of it before we wrap it up?
I just really love pay it forward a lot. So even if it's still uniting for action, maybe the tagline is pay it forward. I just love, like, it's got pay in it, right? And forward. And I love it.
Right. But
And
we'll see,
IT
because
in the
I'm
middle,
sure.
because ultimately an IT platform is going to have to, I mean, there's going to be a lot. I picture a server farm, like it's going to be a big deal and it's going to take financing down the road, but the idea can live on its own strong enough to get that financing as we need it.
Yeah, for sure. And part of what I didn't get to finish the division of the percentages so you can understand. So
Okay.
10% to the person that does the referring.
Which, by the way, is very spiritual. If you've read all the books on finance, you're supposed to. So yeah, perfect.
I actually came up with it based on the idea of tithing. I felt
Exactly. It's
that was
perfect.
the tithing amount.
Yeah.
So 10% to the person that does the connecting, 2% to the person that brought them in, 1% to the person that brought them in, and 2% to Uniting for Action to keep building the system. So again, with Uniting for Action receiving 2% of all of the transactions, we're going to have a lot of financing to work with. And that's really always part of the idea of this. And the idea of the whole system is that it's a positive feedback loop for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that whenever so the two entities that are doing the business together, it's obviously a win-win for them, or they wouldn't do business together, right? So great, win-win for them. Win for the person that brought them together, they're getting whatever was incentivized out of it. And then also the person that brought them in, and the person there. So it's just like, and of course the system for providing all of this, opportunity for everybody. So I think that it seems to me that those percentages are sustainable percentages, that everyone can feel like that's reasonable for all involved, and that we can actually operate a system like that with, people just building that in. So that's part of it, is getting to this stable, sustainable system. And let me also kind of show you now, some of the details of where we've been going with all of this, just to be able to, show you the system that's developing out of this. Did you get a chance to watch the video I sent yesterday of the 15 minutes where we're at with the manifestation process now?
No, I'm so sorry I did not.
Okay,
I'm going to make a note to do that after the meeting.
It's okay. I just wanted to see, what you already knew and what you didn't. So it's perfect, actually, because it's great that I should be sharing it from scratch on this video.
Okay, great.
So let's dive in. Let me pull up the page I want to pull up here. This is so weird. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, I hope this works. I've got so many YouTube windows open that
Gotcha.
It's getting confused and it's not bringing up my stuff. It just did for a second, so I thought it was going to. All right, let me pause the recording to get this sorted out.
Okay.
Okay, so so what I've been doing is I've been taking the meetings that I've been having. And with Angie in particular, Angie's become like the top case study. So I've been taking the meetings that I had, like, let's take the second meeting that I had with Angie. Okay, so this this meeting, the financial part, because I'll just give you the, well, I don't need to give you the link for this one. I'm going to show you on the page and all of that. But this meeting is an hour and 36 minutes, okay? And this was the second meeting that we had in our manifestation process. So with that, what I did with the meeting was I went through after the meeting and I processed the video, and this is what the video processing looks like that I did. So what I did was I looked at the video through a few different lenses. One, what Angie wants to do remotely. Two, what her priorities are. Three, through content around the manifestation process. And four, around content around uniting for action. So each one of these different purposes has different video, as you can see, associated with it, right? Like, so for a period of time, we were just mainly focusing on manifestation process stuff. And then we moved into priorities for a while, right? But I've got it all broken out to this level of detail that I've actually got, 110 or so separate, like notes about information that's content that's in the video, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm breaking out to this level of specificity because what I'm doing is I'm creating a systematic process. This won't always be Jared's job. And this is, again, where we're about to create the most popular job on the planet, which is video processor, which is somebody to just go through video and pull out all of these different pieces and have tags. And this is where we're going to work with the people that are, actually shooting the video to specify the tags or the different areas or the tags get developed out of just the content that comes out. But basically what the video processor is doing is tagging all of these clips in all of these different, so that then there's a channel for each tag, right? So under Angie, here's South Florida, here's Costa Rica, here's this part, here's the co-working, here's this. So now what's happened is she's had a conversation with me. It goes afterwards to the video processor. After it goes through the video processing part, she now has a web page with she has like 10 different web pages, however many, she has 10 different web pages with all the different snippets of content right there on the web page. So basically the system is just collecting all of the content that's coming out of our mouth and building web pages and building videos. And even again, if you're paying enough, if you're hiring enough talent, then all of that collected information is being processed by somebody intelligently and turning it into like, different compilation clips with inspiring presentation and all of that. So again, what we're doing, we're going from speaking the world into existence, into it actually being in our three-dimensional reality after it comes out of our mouth. Because right now, we just have, again, these hour-and-a-half long conversations. And if you and I want to share with anybody anything of what we covered in the last conversation, then, what do? How do we send them to an hour-and-a-half video for them to get the 2 minutes that was relevant, for them? So it opens up our world to consciously figuring out what is the most important thing that I can get out of my mouth today and onto video, so that that video can then be collected with these other things about that. And now I have content to send to this group of people. And now I have content to send to this group of people. And now these people know what I'm talking about with this. And these people know what I'm thinking about with this, right? So again, it's a system to really take what's in our head through our mouths, through our video, and put it into a three-dimensional reality, essentially writing books for us, writing chapters of the book. It's just, we're going to figure out how to organize it all efficiently. But you understand what I'm saying is that no longer do we have to have conversations with people for them to understand what's in our head. We're about to put everything that we can that's in our head out into our video, world of all of our content, of all of the things that we care about, of all of the things that we're working on. In combination, then everything that we're asking for has a context, right? So Angie's asking for a permaculturalist for the project that she's doing in Costa Rica. Well, now we have a whole bunch of content that she can send to somebody like that. And not only can she send, but you can say, hey, Angie, I know permaculturists. I'll be happy to send it to my friends, that are. So again, now because of the system, because of the collection of the content. So I was figuring out, the manifestation process. Along the way, I realized we're at a bottleneck for figuring out how to get what's in our head out to all of these people. So that's another solution that I just developed within the last few weeks that I'm sharing with you now, is this whole system of just processing videos to where it's just automatically organizing all our content. There's so many people in the world whose time is so valuable that for them to pay the necessary people to process the video and turn it into all of this, it's going to be, there's going to be huge markets for this. So again, that's where we're going to, and again, think about internationally, think about all the people in the world that are living in, poor areas, or homeless people, or anybody that can do this job, it doesn't, anybody that can do it. So again, and we're building a whole, this is just the first one that I'm identifying that's really easy and accessible, like to the whole world, and people will start to pay for it right away. So we'll start to have this marketplace for, hey, I've got this video that I want to process. Okay, now I'm somebody that can process video. Who's inspiring me enough? Who's paying me enough? If I'm inspired enough, maybe I don't have to be paid. There's the whole back to the college students and us recruiting massively across college students to have all kinds of interns doing all of this kind of work. You could have all kinds of, high school students, middle schools. I mean, anybody can be doing this work and earning something, right? So again, this is just another side solution that Uniting for Action has come up with along the way, and we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep coming. But this solution is really fundamental, because this solution, again, is so valuable for so many. Let me just start to show you what it started to look like with Angie, just to show you the value of what this is turning into. So this is the first way that I process it. Now I've been cutting the videos, and you just saw, I've already got like 20 videos that I've cut out of it. Let me bring up, not this page, but let me show you. So for Angie's page now, what we've done, we've got one of her like overall visions. This page will evolve a lot, but here you can see the mind maps that I've started to create with her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so this is the first mind map for Abundancia, and in it, it includes the sacred temple and co-working space, and we're actually got two separate mind maps for that I'm going to show you in a minute. But the bottom line about this is all of these things came out of our conversation. Everything here is just straight from our conversation, and now we get to put video clips at the end of all of this. So somebody gets to come and see everything that Angie's working on. Oh, what is this sacred temple all about? Oh, what is the co-working space all about? Let me watch this 2-minute video, and here it is. And so again, here's the sacred temple. Look at the detail that we went into in the sacred temple. And not only do we go into this detail, but we have video content for all of this stuff. So now somebody can watch the video content. I'm about to link up all the video content with all of this. Here's our co-working space. So again, you can start to see so quickly like how somebody like Angie that has all these ideas in their head now can get it out and now can start to attract other people that align with those ideas, just because there's a place for it to be found. Somebody can tune into that channel, and now here's Angie's mind map and here's her videos, and that didn't exist prior to this system. You get it?
It's video cliff notes for inspiration.
Yeah, it's
Remember
exactly.
Cliff Notes in college? Like, oh God, reading the whole book. I mean, I'll read the book, but I like the Cliff Notes. And this is.
I was the person that only read the Cliff Notes. But in high school, there were a bunch of books that I only read the Cliff Notes for. But
like I might not want to sit and watch you guys for an hour and a half, but showing that map, all of a sudden, if I could have clicked on a bubble and just heard a snippet, then it might have piqued my interest enough to go back into different spots of it. And it's kind of like, you know, people don't read books as much anymore because they want books on tape. So you're kind of evolving information and how it's delivered for people up to things, kind of. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So again, this is all revolutionary aspects of the initial products that we're coming up with. And these products essentially they're almost, I'm trying to refine them enough that I can train other people to be doing the analyst portion and the video portion and those sorts of things, so that again, we can start to scale with it. But it's simple enough tasks, each one of them. And that's the whole idea of nano actions, right? That we don't need one person that can do all of these different things. We only need one person that can do this one thing and one person that can do this one thing. And by breaking it all up that way and making everything very simple to do, you know, we ought to be able to fill all those roles pretty quickly. And especially once we start to put dollars behind them. So again, that's where I'm refining it quickly enough with Angie to where we can show it on the website compellingly enough. And this video will be part of that, to different people that can say, oh yeah, I would pay $500 to go through this process, or $1,000 to go through this process.
Mind and messaging map with video clips that I can then have my page where it's got that stuff. Because now you've got some special sauce. Once again, with the profile, Facebook versus, and Facebook's great. No harm on Facebook. I'm just saying that how are we different? That's very different. That's very different. Yeah. It's a different way of thinking about how we take in information. And once we get inspiration attracts time. Inspiration attracts time. So, oh, wait a minute. She just grabbed me on that little, wait, what was that garden? Wait, Costa Rica? Oh, wait, now I really want to know about this. Whereas sit and watch this hour YouTube. Now I got to wait for the introductions. You know, the mind works. If your mind works as fast as mine, I want to get kind of right in the middle of the action and see if I want to know more. I think a lot of people are like that. Yeah.
Of course. And that's the thing, is we have not had the granular sharing of information in our society like this. We have not had a structure to capture and share information like this at all. So this is unlike anything that's out there in that kind of way.
Yeah. I want to learn how to do the video editing. I know that when I had the marketing agency, we did do some video editing projects where you have the layers of audio and you're cutting and moving and things. But it sounds like this might be even a little easier than some of those more advanced video editing things I've used. I don't know. It's built in with YouTube, or?
No, I've been doing it all manually, but here's the thing, is where I want to get with it. And we just want to find these resources out in the world, or invent it, or whatever, that I want to get it to the point where you can, once you shoot the video, you can upload it into our system. And then anybody, whether it's you or whether it's somebody that you're giving permission to do the, editing, or not the editing, but the processing, that you can just essentially put the timestamps, or just click like start and stop, that it's all clickable.
Yeah.
And then the system actually automatically generates all the clips for you. So I've got another system. Yeah, this is the thing. I guess actually now is a good time to talk about it. This is a really revolutionary system. What time do we have until, so I can be sensitive to that?
I can do another 15 more minutes. I think we said an hour and a half, but I'm just a little behind on my tickets today. So okay. Yeah, okay.
So no worries. So I'm going to save this other part, but I'm just going to say as a placeholder that the automatic video processing and API.
It might be an invention that you can. Wow.
Yeah. Listen, Kat, that's the thing. These ideas come out of my head all day, but especially when I have to be dealing with this and dealing with that and dealing with that, then I can't even allow myself to have these ideas to come. And that's why, as quickly as possible, I am freeing myself of all of those other roles and responsibilities. So all I have to do is have meetings where stuff comes out of me all day long, and it's all new stuff that gets invented into the world in some way or another. Right. And teach everyone how to do that. Right. And have everyone's time and ideas be valuable enough that they can, again, hire all the resources to do all the other parts of it so that they can just be brilliant and everything else gets handled. That's where we're going with all of this. So yeah, that's the real ultimate, manifestation process, is where you don't have to do anything other than speak it into existence, and then it all happens for you. Right.
Right. I know when we first met that I said, wow, this sounds like something for the 99%. And you said, well, that's not going to work. We always have to think 100%. But I really do want to re-express the fact that large majority of people are uninspired and struggling financially. Right. And maybe the world has been maybe this is web 3.0. Like, we're not going to just sit with our little things on there and go into a non-reality, which is kind of where big tech wants to take you because they can so monetize it.
Right.
But everything, I kind of think we're at a point where everything that's been monetized has been monetized to date. Inspiration is the big missing. And it seems like you're trying to almost work completely backwards with the end in mind, where everybody, every single human could plug in and be inspired, because the systems, and there'll be many, will, yeah, I'm very inspired.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. That's really great. And that's the idea. And that's where we need to be to attract other people to want to, say, yes, I want to support, I want to be a part of this. And so, I've been thinking about, I think we are close enough for me to start to have conversations with people that have money, that I haven't been wanting to approach yet, because I haven't felt like it's been baked enough for them yet. And I think that we're still baking it, but I think there's enough to see, as you're seeing, that like this is the new realm. And like you said, I kind of laugh a little bit. I know the metaverse is going to be all this stuff. I'm reading a lot about, stuff happening in the metaverse these days. But like you're saying, what I'm describing it's not just like a new way for us to interact like the metaverse is. It's more of like a revolution of how we function as a society. It's really the way that I look at it. I'll just end with this part, and then we'll go to other parts before we wrap up. But before the Industrial Revolution, everybody made their own thing. Every cart maker made their own cart. So if you there weren't interchangeable parts, right? You had to get your custom support or whatever, and then the assembly line came along, and that's where everything got standardized and everything fits with everything else, right? When it's all built the same, right? And you can interchange those parts. And we know what the Industrial Revolution did for our society, right? It was obviously that's a tremendous shift. This is very much like that, in the sense that up until now, we've all been trying to find our own way, do our own thing, like be in this way that we're all custom figuring out our lives.
Yeah.
Which now that we're systematizing it all, where we can all work off of the same system and we can all benefit and learn from each other, and we don't have to repeat learning, because here's all of the step-by-step ways that best practices, that collective learning, that collective, each of us being a gear in this machine, here's all the different roles that we want to play. Here's this nano action, this nano action, this nano action. Each one of those nano actions that we want to spend our time, doing, we're being a gear in somebody else's machine that they can change out with somebody else doing that same exact function, right? And so, but it gives our society the ability to be so automated in all of this stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's so complicated right now by the fact that we're hiring one person that has to fulfill all of these roles, and we have to kind of trade off between, well, they're good at this, they're not so good at this, they're good at this, they're not so good at this. What am I going to get if I hire somebody else that again has to fill like 1,000 roles? Well,
right.
let's divide those 1,000 roles into 1,000 people, each doing their own nano action, and then we get to all do exactly what we want and be good at it and get paid well for it. And within a system, and that
Yeah.
doesn't even count the system of connecting everybody with everybody to create value for them, right? So
And
again, it's
then
all
we don't even know what this could morph into. If it becomes as successful as I think it could be, because I've long thought that you could have, it was more like a Yelp idea, but in every city, there's going to be a top 3 yoga studios by zip code or whatever, but allow enough rotation and enough where even the competitor studios are coaching each other, because now this guy's going to go into #1 slot on the like there's so many different ways we could do business, but because it's so like, all right, I'm gonna and there was this guy that brought me an idea the other day. He's a painter, and he's at the end of his painting career, and he wants to start a new business that competes with Angie's List. And I was like, dude, I mean, and I hooked him up with a company that would tell him what they're spending online right now monthly. And it was actually less than I expected. I think it was 100,000 a month or whatever on keywords, but like so many things are now built and settled in this little niche. You've got TaskRabbit. So I call a guy to caulk my tub from TaskRabbit, and TaskRabbit takes a cut, right? And then I can see the reviews and all that kind of stuff. So I just think that what I'm hearing is, wow, there's a potential here to flip everything on its head, and it could be the new inspiration revolution instead of industrial.
absolutely. You're on it exactly. I appreciate that you see it all, and that's where I just want to add, like, we're not going to rebuild TaskRabbit. We're going to partner with TaskRabbit. We're going to partner with Yelp, and I just want to encourage you to think when you say, if this becomes as big as I think it can be, I want to encourage you to take the mindset that what I'm describing is the future. Whether
it goes with everything. It goes with everything.
Well, what I'm describing is the future. So whether Uniting for Action brings it into the world or some other entity brings it into the world, if we're going to evolve as a society, what I'm describing, the words that are coming out of my mouth, are a much more evolved society than where we're at right now. There are much more evolved ways of using technology and interacting and doing all of these things. So to me, the things that I'm describing are an inevitability. We will we will be doing these types of things. It's just that we can do them now if we just start coming together and provide support and do all the things that will allow, allow us to manifest all that we want together. I'm trying to help. I'm kind of helping to lead the path because I see so clearly
what it can be.
All these different ways that it could be so different than it is now. And I'm describing it clearly enough to you and to others that, you're inspired and others are inspired. And now we just need, some people with some finances that want to help us build these actual systems and find the programmers or programming company. There's not a lot of like things that need to get handled in order to really start having this working. So now is the time. That's why I said I've baked it enough that now is the time that we can start bringing in all the different pieces that we need in order to start really getting this going. And I'm willing to have early conversations, with venture capitalists and others, that I have some connections with, that I'm willing to say it's still early, but I want you to see it now so that you can recognize what's here and be willing to work with us at an earlier stage, maybe than you've worked with anybody. But that the idea that we're having challenges each month that amount in the thousands of dollars it's kind of silly, and you can see that it's silly, and you're willing to put in $20,000, right now in order to get us to hire a bunch of people and do that. You get what I mean? It's like, there's
also, sorry to interrupt, but the power of video you have tapped in, because I must tell you at this point now, I am a TikTok addict, but it's because video just a 2-minute video, you go from a cat sitting on top of another cat to people singing in Ottawa to somebody complaining about, and I feel like there's something going on here that my brain is latching on to the power of video. It's not even so much about being entertained. It's that I'm meeting all these people that I went, and it makes me want to engage in my world in some new way, but I'm stuck looking at a screen at this point. I think this is breaking through the screens we're all stuck on, and we're not, and everybody sees, oh, we're going to get more into screen time. I think we need less screen time and maybe more human interaction again. So
Well,
yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah, totally. And the irony is that it's screen time when we're looking at each other like this in Zoom, right? But the thing is that here's another system, and I'll have to end with this. I know we're getting close. Is that we are systematizing not only people having Zoom meetings, but these Zoom meetings get broken down and processed all of this way, so that now, and and also, again, just like we've been creating like the agreements, we're going to make this public, we're going to make this private, all of that has to get built into the Zoom meetings as well, right? So we're actually helping to build the systems of the agreements and the agreement system, so that basically, again, once you upload the video, you approve which parts can be public, I approve which parts can be public, then the system itself keeps things behind locked doors and that sort of thing. So ultimately, we need to use like world-class security, because this is going to be people's most sensitive information. So, that's where we need to start bringing in those partners and actually
encryption technology, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. But that, having that system where people can now have meetings, they can decide together which parts are going to be public. They can send that off to go and get processed, whatever they're willing to get processed. They can get processed now. Content gets built for them on their website, whatever. Now they can share it. They can have new communication. There's all this level of business, of interacting, that is new. It's a new paradigm, like you're saying.
Rules of order. Yeah.
And it relies, like you're saying, on the video. What do they say? 90% of communication is nonverbal.
That's correct.
So it's why I, tell people over and over again, when they're in our meetings, have your camera on if you can. And I won't have, there are some meetings I have on the phone or whatever, or when people can't, but I don't want to have very many non-video meetings, because they don't hold people's attention. Audio recording doesn't hold people's attention as much as video does. And I've also learned that, because I've been debating with myself about whether, when I'm cutting videos, whether to cut to speaker view so that, the speaker can be seen fully. And what I've decided, at least recently, at least for now, is that I'm never going to use speaker view, because what I watch actually a lot of reaction videos on YouTube. And so I get the value of the reaction video. And by having the side by side, you're simultaneously getting the person speaking, and you're simultaneously getting the reaction video of the person that's there. So now each one of these videos becomes a reaction video at the same time. And that makes it even more interesting to watch, not just Kat saying something, but Kat saying something, her seeing how engaged Jared is. And because Jared is so engaged, they feel engaged. You get what I mean? It transfers the energy. And that's where I'm going to tie it back in now, because that's where I'm being a vision holder. Anybody that's like agreeing with your inspiration, that's being inspired by you, they're your vision holder, basically. And that's value in the system. So I realized this, I was working with a leadership council member, and they said, I want more of this, but I don't have any money to give for that. And I was trying to figure out, what do they have to offer, to Uniting for Action that's valuable? Well, that leadership council member has, spoken effusively about Uniting for Action and has said things really eloquently and great. And, we have ways that we want to share that. So that person is creating value for Uniting for Action just by being a champion for Uniting for Action. And by continuing to be and all of that, that becomes some currency with us, right? And so everyone has the opportunity to have that currency with some people in their life, that they can be such a champion. They can be, have a meeting with somebody and be such a champion that now that person wants to do something for them, even though they didn't give them money. So this is one of the first ways that we start to open up significant amounts of currency.
Yeah.
Is that we can be champions for people. And in a way, it's almost like we're paid spokespeople.
Well, it's our version of influencers. Because influencers, the kids don't want jobs anymore. They want to get on TikTok and have companies that they're excited about. Girls are doing the makeup, guys are whatever, and it's already happening, but there's still no system. Everybody's like, now I got to call this company, let them know I'm here and send them a thing. And so, yeah, I am definitely tapping into what you're creating here. And it takes a very big brain to see it without going, well, wait, I don't know. I don't get it. It's so visionary that it will take a while it makes me want to write some copy for you. Like, I'm picturing a brochure for a VC and, okay, the world as we know it is broken into pieces. Everybody has their domain. Everybody has their bank account, blah, blah, blah. Now, working from another view, we can see things holistically where, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some really compelling copy to be written here.
I agree. And I want
video.
And I want you to do that. And that's the thing. And I know we didn't get to that level of detail today, which is fine. We needed to establish all of this as a framework. Now let's talk about what you can do and what you need for that, because we need copy. We need this. We need so many things that you can provide. So what can we offer to you that we can start to have this exchange? Because I want to start this exchange with as much of your talent, as much of what you want to give as possible. And there's a lot that we can send to you, in a lot of different dimensions. We want to define, obviously, the finances, and we've talked about it some. We'll revisit the finances and figure out, how do we need to be sending you flow and how quickly can we do that and all of that. And then all of the other realms as well. So, but let's have our next meeting as soon as we can, because again, we're at the place where, again, I've been contracted understandably to get all of this figured out. Sure. Now it's time to explode out there, and I need all the support that I can get with that. So
let's meet Sunday or Monday at the latest, because now my wheels are cooking and I want to get some things on paper, honestly, for the first time, because over here it was like, well, you had it all on paper and I was inspired, and now I'm wanting to bring something to you to bounce for you to go, oh wow, okay, wow, let's talk about that. So I'm gonna do some writing.
Awesome. I haven't done
writing in a long time.
I appreciate you being inspired to that level. That's really, really great. So
awesome.
Cool. Thank you so much, Kat. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Yeah, let's do Sunday. Do you want to set a time now?
Yeah, sure thing. Okay, so I do have my movie star meeting with Colin Egglesfield from 1 to 3:30, anytime after 3:30.
Okay, so let's make it 4.
Okay, great. 4 o'clock on Sunday. Oh, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I am too. So this is so awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate you said, it takes a big brain to get all of this, and you have that. So
thank you.
I appreciate
pattern recognition. I've been on your same dream wavelength for a long time. When we first started talking about it, I was picturing, like, for example, if we all agreed that this one food was so great, we just have a network wide thing that anybody who makes a cute video gets $5 because we have that money left over in the slush fund. My brain has already kind of been there, and I have little things that come to me in the shower, but I never had how are we actually going to do this?
Now we have the framework. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Have a good one. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you, Kat.
Talk to you Sunday.
Okay. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.